I wish I could say I really enjoyed this book, uh, but I didn't. And I'll tell you why. First, I will say that, of course, probably like most of you, I'm most familiar with the movie. Probably saw it dozens of times before I was the age of 10. And so before I read this, I actually went back and watched the movie because to me, that is the story of The Wizard of Oz. And I just wanted to be able to have a fresh memory of what went on in the movie and how that progressed before I went through this. Because obviously, you figure there should be a lot more in the book. And whereas many people say, oh, the book's so much better than the movie, and I disagree. I disagree. So I don't know how to do this with spoilers or not. No spoilers. I assume everybody's seen the movie, knows what that's all about. So I'm just gonna say there's gonna be some minor spoilers. I won't go into everything. Maybe there's major spoilers. I don't know. I'll just kind of talk and see where this goes. If it gets to a point where you want to stop, I don't blame you. But again, I can't recommend reading this book. So the story is the same, right? You've got Dorothy, her dog Toto. She goes along and meets her friends. They got to fight the Wicked Witch. She melts by water, the same old stuff, and she ends up going home. But in this version, it's only 150 pages. The witch dies on page 90. 90, 150, 60 pages after the witch dies until the end of the book. So of course and I will say, the first half, like the journey to the Emerald City and getting to the witch, I found that was all right with me. We meet some other creatures in the forest. There's some challenges the group comes across. And some of the stuff, there's a little bit more development with the Scarecrow. He actually comes up with ideas to solve problems. You're like, okay, this is how he's developing his brain. And the wizard will tell him, you've had brains all along, you just didn't know how to use them. But where the whole book just feels flat emotionally. And I know it's a kid's story and you shouldn't be too rough on it. And it's kind of like when I reviewed the Hobbit, and I was a little harsh on that until I read that he wrote it for his kids. And so, but if you're an adult and you're reading this, it's so flat. It's so bland. Everything that happens is just kind of like, and then they came across this. Oh no, what are we going to do? Well, I think we should do this. And they do it and the problem solved, next chapter. That happens over and over and over again where it's just like, oh no, what do we do? Oh, this is a terrible problem. Let me do this. Ka-chonk. Okay, finished. Great, let's keep going. There's no weight to anything. No weight to anything at all. And that hurts the characters, that hurts the stories. It's just, oh no, what do we do? Do this. Okay, moving on. Every time, over and over and over again. But I will say, like I said, if the book ended like after the witch died and they went to the Emerald City and maybe had some of the similar problems in the movie, then it would have been fine. But it was after the witch died, and it's just like in the movie. They're going to do the balloon thing and go back to Kansas, but of course Toto sees the cat and the rope snaps and oh crap, we don't have the balloon. Well, then they have to, here's where spoilers come in, then they have to go find the Witch of the South. They're told the Witch of the South can help Dorothy get back to Kansas. So here we are still with like 50 pages left in the book, maybe a little less, 40. And now we have to do this whole other journey going down south. They come across a land of people made of china, like, dinnerware, and climbing the wall, and people are scared of them. Like, the people are like, please don't make me run. If I trip and fall, I'll shatter. And they just kind of like walk through this town and then they're out of it. They come across this group of things called the Quadlings they have to get over. And it's just kind of like, after the witch is dead, again, maybe I'm biased because from the movie, it's just like, all right, the witch is dead. Let's just get home. And so all this, for me, it was nonsense afterwards. It's like he had ideas in his head. Well, I want to include this. I want to include this, which is fine. Fine. Just my point of view. It was all nonsense. It's like, all right, let's get to it. Nothing's going to happen here. There's a part where the lion, there's a big meeting with all the animals, and they're like, we're looking, or no, there's a big creature who's killing us all. And the lion's, well, I'll help you with this creature if you make me your king afterwards. And they're like, okay. and it's this giant spider. The lion goes into the forest. The spider is sleeping. The lion jumps on top of the spider and knocks off its head with his claws, goes back, and now he's king. And that's like 2 pages. So there's no development or suspense or weight to anything. Like I said, it's just this, then this, then this, then this. There's even a point, the poppy field. Poppy field is in it. And only Dorothy and the lion are affected by it. So they fall asleep. The Tin Man and the Scarecrow aren't affected. And like, well, we can carry him out. It's like, we can carry Dorothy, but the lion, he's too heavy. There's no way we're going to get him. So they literally stand there, and it might be like 3 sentences where he's like, well, that's too bad. He was a good friend. Let's go. And they're just like, they're perfectly fine leaving him there to sleep for eternity. And it's just so fast. He was a good friend. That's too bad. Let's go. There's so much of that. There's a part where like a wildcat is chasing mice. It's like they heard a growl. The wildcat jumped out of the forest and Tin Man chopped off its head, which there's a lot of violence in this. The Tin Man kills a lot of things, chopping off heads. There's another beast, a bear with a tiger's head. I think he chops off a paw maybe. So yeah, it's silliness, a lot of silliness. Maybe I wasn't in the right mindset for it. And plus, there's some problems where, because the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, they don't need to sleep. So they sleep a lot in the woods. How do we get across this valley? How do we get across this river? How do we climb this wall? Well, while you're sleeping, me, Mr. Tin Man, I will construct a raft. I will construct a ladder. And so it's like, and then they woke up and the Tin Man had made it. And then they just carried on. Yeah. So, first half of the book, this could have been 100 pages. The last 50 pages or whatever it was, they have to find the Witch of the South. It's nonsense. A lot of the same stuff. There's the tornado, which the tornado is like page 2. You don't get that big intro introducing all the farm hands who turn out to be the Scarecrow and all of them. So, as for just a book itself, a story, I don't even know if how much this would keep a child's attention. They might have to be really young, and if they start asking questions, it'll get a little messy because it's literally just the problem pops up and the solution is super simple, and that just happens and they move on. So it's so just like this. There's no ups and downs. It's so flat and bland. So I'm not going to recommend this. The movie, let me transition to the movie. Because the movie, I just watched it, like I said, and it'd probably been maybe 20, 25 years since I watched the whole thing, and I really enjoyed it. It was really funny, a lot funnier than I remembered. It finally dawned on me what was so funny and recognizable about the Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow, their interactions. It felt like the Three Stooges. Three Stooges without the violence. That old, like, 1930s, I don't know, vaudeville talk acting, when the lion jumps out and he goes like, trying to scare me, eh? It's like, oh, trying to sneak up on me, eh? Or when they're at the witch's castle and they're watching the soldiers walk around, and the lion, he says he's going to go down there, and he's like, but fellas, there's just one more thing I have to ask you. And they're like, sure, what is it? And he goes like, and he crosses his eyes, he goes like, talk me out of it. It's just so silly. And it's just like something you would see Curly do in the Three Stooges. And, their actions are so exaggerated. I never really, paid much attention to it as a kid. But when they're shivering with hopefully this doesn't mess up my mic. But when they're shivering, they're like this, like, oh, you go on. And they're just shaking such exaggeration. It's hilarious. So I really enjoyed the movie. I'm done with the book. There's so many differences. Major ones I can't really think of. I don't think the Wicked Witch of the West and East were sisters in this one. The witch from the North we meet once and then never again. Like I said, she goes to the Witch of the South later. But yeah, if I was going to read a kid's story, maybe read The Hobbit. Now The Hobbit's looking better after reading this. So yeah, I'll just end it there. Not worth the time. Watch the movie. Movie is hilarious. Oh, another thing. After they meet Oz and they say you have to go kill the Wicked Witch. In the movie, and they're walking through the forest, I never noticed that the Scarecrow has a little a little gray gun. Like, it's so small. And the lion has a hammer that says witch remover on it. Oh, that movie was so good. Another thing in the book, the monkeys, the winged monkeys. Why did I say winged? The winged monkeys, they're not like pets of the Wicked Witch. They're actually kind of like a genie. There's a magic hat in this that if you have it and there's a spell you have to say, you can call on the monkeys 3 times to do favors. And so the witch used it once, I think, to enslave the Winkies, which in the book she has slaves called Winkies. She also used it once to remove Oz from the western part of the land. And then her last one is using them to pick up Dorothy and them and dispose of the Tin Man and all that stuff. So then later, Dorothy gets the hat after she kills the witch, and she can use it. And then it's another silly part. The Witch of the South, they're like, oh, we have to go back to where we want to go, but we can't cross this place because of blah, blah, blah. So the witch just uses the hat. Oh, give me the hat. Billy bally boop. Do this for the Scarecrow, do this for this, then that's your 3 wishes. And then same at the end, you click your heels together and you go off back home to Kansas. No ruby slippers. They're silver in this one. So there you have it. The Wizard of Oz book, the story. No thanks. Go watch the movie, and I will see you next time. Bye.